All right, here with Coach Ron McKie. We're going to be talking about ways to level up your offseason this year. And, Coach, what we're looking at are some things that are beyond the norm. But first, I want to say thank you for joining us on the Football Coaching Podcast.
Well, I am happy to be back. I appreciate you asking me to come back on and talk about this interesting topic. When I got the email, I was like, oh, heck yes. Sweetie, you're going to have to put the kids to bed tonight because I've got some ball to talk.
Yeah, so we're doing this at night, so we're probably both going to be a little off sorts as usual. So it's fine. It's late, not too late, but we're going to be talking about ways to level up your offseason. Obviously, Coach McKie has been on the podcast before and is part of the Football Coaching Podcast Network with the Talking Football podcast. So make sure that you check that one out as well. And we'll probably come around to some topics that you can promote as we go through, because we're going to talk about a lot of stuff here. But if anybody hasn't checked it out, be sure to check out Talking Football Podcast, especially if you're offensive communist. It's a really good podcast for you. You're going to love it. Got to say something.
I understand.
Run the ball.
Only occasionally.
10% of the time.
Yeah.
All right, so what we're talking about are ways to level up this offseason. So basically what we're talking about, we're each going to have 5 different things we've come up with, maybe a couple more here and there. There may be some overlap too, on ways that we feel like you know, outside of the norm, outside of the box thinking, ways that you can truly make your football team better this offseason, other than just saying like, hey, champions are built in the weight room. Like, at this point, we all know that, right? Champions are built in the weight room. Okay, great. That's fantastic. Let's talk about some other things that you can do. If at this point you don't have a weight room program and you're not saddled by either state rules or some other, I've heard so many good reasons. I'm not talking about the bad reasons. I've heard good reasons for not having an off-season weight training program, and there are, good reasons. I've heard those, but for the most part, all of us who have the ability to, we're running an off-season weight training program of some sort and those kinds of things. We know to meet with the staff and those kinds of things. So we're going to be talking about some different ways that we can do it, and we'll be going back and forth as we go. And I'll just kind of pick out some different ones as we go. But Coach, let's go ahead and get started first. Why don't you start us off with your first one?
I know a lot of people do this, but this is just the data nerd in me. I say you go back and you look at every single snap and you chart out, for me, the offense. Top 5 plays, runs, passes, not top 5. I would go with the top 5 that you called, not yardage always, but just what you called. And then once you get that, I would, if you have it, get out your practice scripts and stuff like that and see, okay, counter was my number 1 play that I called in the season. Did we run that a lot in practice? Or were we trying to run more inside zone, outside zone? And then when a game time comes, I'm calling counter. Why is that?
Yeah, I like this kind of self-scouting. And then the big next step is like, what are you actually calling? And I think we did a web clinic that's going to be up on JDFB Insider not that long ago, a couple weeks ago, about like examining your playbook and then like, kind of working backwards of like how many things in your playbook. And you and I both talk about, simplify. How many things in your playbook are you like, going out there and practicing and you never called it and that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely like looking at the analytics. I don't even think I had that on here. So, like, that's how much I was.
All right, I got
attention.
you. I'm done. It was nice. It was nice talking. I'll see you later.
You win. I've been talking to some guys this off season that are like really big analytics, like nerds, like data nerds. And like, I guess I'm not, I want to be like, I believe in all that stuff. I like all that stuff, but I tend to go maybe too much by gut. And maybe it's the fact that, and this is where some things come in, is like, how much is time worth to you? Like if you've got the staff, you gotta be doing this stuff. I feel like I haven't been in a place to go back and really tear it down the last couple of years, but I think it's super important. And actually I kind of gave a framework in that web clinic that you could look at, but what do you mentioned like, okay, top 5 plays, top 5, like pass, run, maybe formations. What are you looking for with that? You know, are you
All right,
looking
so
for like what worked best or?
twofold. One, what works best, because nothing's worse than when you dive into the stats and let's say shallow cross was your best pat. You know, got you the most yards when you called it. But then you realize you hardly ever called it. You called it maybe twice every 3 games, and you're looking at it like, why the heck did I not run that more? And you can look at, okay, I called it maybe 3 times every other game, but then I'm practicing it every single day.
Mhm.
What's causing me not to pull the trigger in the game when I am so easily pulling that trigger during 7-on-7 team and things like that? That's the first thing. And then the second thing is the flip side. Okay, why am I practicing slants? We did slants all the time. I called it all the time, talked about it all the time, everything like that. Not once did I call it during the season. And we practiced it, slants, routes on air, 7-on-7 every single Tuesday for the entire year. Actually going back to the summer, because I'm a nerd like that and I keep everything. I'm a digital whore when it comes to football stuff. And I'm looking at it, I'm going, okay, that needs to go. I don't know why I had that concept in. I never call it. We waste all this time in practice. That's done.
Yeah, slants is one that I had to like kill. I had to get away
Yeah.
from it.
It's sexy now, but I hardly ever either my guy forces it in that first slant, doesn't understand that, you know, if someone jumps that first one, the second one's going to be wide open.
Yeah.
Or he just flips out and I don't call it or something.
I quit. I'll call it in the goal line.
Mm-hmm.
I quit calling it because too many of them are thrown a little bit high and they bounce to a cover 3 corner or something. So I don't throw slants at all unless it's zero. I mean, zero coverage. Yeah. Let's go. But there's, you know, the last couple of years that I was offensive coordinator, we were so good on the receivers that if we were zero coverage, we were throwing fades.
That's nice. That's nice to have. That is nice to have. Man.
So,
I'm jealous.
but you know, you could throw the slants. You know, but if you got it, you know, you just take it. I had a hitch. I think I went and broke down hitch, which is like our base concept. 2018, and we threw it like 9 times, and it was the same thing. Like I'm always hammering like the steps and the footwork on the hitch, and like the sexiest thing if you're an offensive line, you talk about sexy. The sexiest thing if you're an offensive line coach is catch and throw a hitch. See a hitch, throw a hitch, bam, no laces, just get the ball out there. It's like, yeah, nobody ever gets sacked on that. It's the best. So, yeah. That's one of my favorites, and that was the one I was looking at, and I was like, we called it 9 times.
Yeah, and then you feel stupid after that.
It's like, we just started throwing, and the reason was when you were playing 8 yards off, we just threw look. We quit throwing hitch. Just turn and throw straight to the guy.
Yeah.
But why am I sitting there hammering hitch route? If that guy's 8 yards off, I'm just turn. Like, we're not. Why even run towards him? Just turn and throw it to him. You know, and if that guy decides to jump it, then we'll, you know, look and go or something. But my number 5 is going to be organizing your inventory. So a lot of mine are geared towards trying to do the off the field stuff. I've got some on the field stuff too. I didn't forget everything on the field, but a lot of guys have heard me talk about last year, you know, a couple off seasons ago, about the barcode system that I put in. And this is really simple. And I know I need to sit down and like put it out there, but not coaching. I don't have access. I mean, I do have access to, but I don't have like the helmets and the barcodes and everything in front of me. So when I'm not running, it's hard to make like a video on it. And the barcodes are kind of expensive, and I kind of donated them to the last program. So I can't just go spend $70 for the, you know, a new stack of bark. But it's really, I can show you what they are on Amazon, and it's really simple, and they're just stickers in the helmet. But whether you do the barcode system or whatever you do, organize your inventory. Like really be anal about it, like labeling everything, whether it's the thing that, and I just talked about this on the quick clinic for, it'll be out the day before this podcast comes out. But I just talked about it. And so one of the things that I said on that is it's not really about the barcode. It's about you showing your players this crap matters. Okay. This isn't yours. This is worth money to this program. And if you just throw helmets at kids and throw shoulder pads at them, and here's some pants and here's another pair of knee pads. Oh, you lost your knee pads. Here's another. Yeah, you're going to run out of stuff because they don't respect it at all. They'll respect it if you respect it. And my thing with this is, guys, if you're busting your butt doing car washes and then you're losing $1,000 worth of equipment, that's stupid. Like
It is.
But we've almost all of us have done it, unless you're just a super anal retentive guy. Like I think all of us have watched hundreds of dollars of equipment walk out the door, and then we're like, we're having a bake sale.
Or you find it at the end of the year when you go through and you clean out everybody's locker and you open it up and it's like opening up a treasure chest. It's like, oh, there's all the knee pads right there. How does this one kid get 18 pairs of knee pads? I don't understand it.
Oh my God. Kids with like, yeah. And then there's like the one locker that nobody was using, but everybody was just throwing stuff into. It's like, okay.
And the shirts are so crusted. They're like, they could chop a head off, razor sharp.
So, I mean, just organize it. And and above all else, that lets the kids know it's important. And if you're not an organized person, you need to hire somebody who is, like, you know, find somebody who is and organize it. If you show them it's important, this is what I found. People think that kids are like disrespectful and they don't think they think that whatever, doesn't have any value. If you don't show value, they don't inherently value things. That's correct.
Yeah.
They look at it as this was bought by the school. And I guarantee you that the parents do too. They're like, oh, the rich school. Like we know, no, it's out of the football budget. And the football budget is anything but rich.
Yeah.
So you've got to show them and tell them, like, look, this stuff is, and just telling them like, hey, where do you think this comes from? No, you've got to show it. You've got to stick barcodes on everything. The barcode thing is no different than putting the numbers on it. Just putting, hey, this is, what we did for like pants was we put the locker number and the year. So it'd be like if they're locker 45, it'd say 45-19. Okay. And that's the number. Okay. And that way, that this goes to locker 45 in 2019. And the next year it'll say whatever locker number 20. But the barcode system, what I found that did, it wasn't any different than just writing the numbers on it. But when you take that helmet or shoulder pads or whatever and you go, tink, it sounds super official. And it like populates that exact same number. The number just pops up in a Google Drive sheet. It's really not fancy, but it sounds super official. That's why I liked it. All right. Number 4.
Go ahead. I was thinking about the barcode method, honestly, last week. That's creepy that you're talking about it. And I actually used it.
Guy.
I used it in an interview and the interviewees were like, eyes blew up. They're like, that's genius. Of course, I had to make it seem like I came up with it on my own. I'm not going to. Of course you do. But that is the first. I remember you talking about it. Was it last year or the year before in a podcast?
It was before the 2018 season.
I wrote that down in my coaching notebook. I have a coaching notebook, as weird as that is. I was like, that's a great idea. Right when I parked the car, I wrote that down. I was like, I'm gonna do that.
So I went around and you guys that are lucky to be not lucky, you guys that are at places with a lot of money can do this stuff. There are companies that will do it all for, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 were the prices that I was quoted. I spent $70 on barcodes. If I had been around more than a year at that position, I would have also purchased a heat press, which you can use to press the barcodes onto cloth, because ironing them onto cloth does not work. You need a heat press. It's supposed to. I mean, okay, let me take that back. It works on cloth that is not flexible. Okay, yeah. So pants, if you put it on the little flap that goes in front of the string on practice pants, works perfectly fine. That doesn't get stretched out. But if you try to put it on a part of the pants that's stretchy, it's just going to fall off. So, and anything that already has a barcode, you don't need to barcode it because it's already your barcode reader will read it, and the barcode reader is like $12, and it can. Oh, okay. Dang, it can zap it straight into a Google Drive spreadsheet. And maybe I'll make that the download for this podcast since we're talking.
Heck yeah, man.
We'll make that spreadsheet. I'll have to edit that spreadsheet up. Write myself a note here in my coaching notebook. That is the same notebook I use for everything, and I fill them up and keep them for no apparent reason.
Exactly. I can't get rid of them. I have an entire file of them, file cabinet full of just random notebooks.
Yeah, I've got like a shelf of me. But then there's like some that weren't random that I actually want to go back and look at sometimes, and they're gone. So
It's the way it is.
So like I said, be super organized, everybody. It works. All right, number 4, Coach.
I know this is going to be a little bit different, but I like the mental game. And what I mean by that is trying to, philosophy-wise, stoicism or anything like that, because I am sick of seeing coaches on the sideline flip out during a game. And then when they have their kids flip out, they flip out on their kids. And so it's like, do as I say, not as I do type thing. And when I watch successful coaches in the NFL, I should say, they really don't flip out that much. And I've never seen anything on the high school sideline or the college sideline where you flip out on a ref and the ref goes, you know what, man? I'm gonna pick that flag back up. You're absolutely 100% right. Thank you for tearing me a new butthole. I'm gonna put that back, and that's it. Because then we sit there and we go and practice how many times, hey, you can't lose your cool. Doesn't matter what the other kids do. You can't lose your cool. You can't punch them in the helmet or anything like that. But then Friday nights, you've got coaches just flipping out, slamming headsets and everything like that. And it's like, why? And I think it's because they don't train the mental aspect of it, yoga or meditation or something like that. I know I'm sounding woo-woo, but
Yeah, I mean,
that's something I think that's an overlooked facet of the game.
And so I'm a natural flip out guy. And I've had to work really, really, I mean, it's genetic, like flip out guy. I learned that.
Yeah.
I learned that from home. But like I worked really hard to get to not be that way.
Mm-hmm.
Not perfect by any means, but a lot better. And I'm way calmer. And a lot of guys may find this to be a way to do it. And I don't think it's wrong necessarily. Personally, I'm way calmer on game day than I am on practice.
Yeah.
And I have been that way for a long time, like flipping out during game day.
I'm guilty of that. Like I tell them, I get mad Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
I will never flip out on you on Friday or anything like that, or embarrass you or the school or anything like that, because I know you're not going out there purposefully messing up.
Right.
And if you are, you're coming out and I'm going to put somebody back in and I'm not going to worry about it.
I think that's one of the things that we have to realize. And I'm, the guys that lose their minds on Friday on the sidelines, like you said, it's something you need to address, and you do not. And again, that's why I wanted to say, like, I am a natural flip out guy.
Yeah.
Do not think that this is just the way you are. You absolutely can teach yourself. Not in a day.
Yeah.
Probably not even in a season, but you can start to improve over time because you just by being conscious of it. And I'm a woo-woo guy. Like I do the meditation and I got the the podcast and things that calm me down.
Oh, I am too. I didn't mean anything despairing by saying woo-woo.
I figured you're mentioning it. Like,
yeah,
we both, we both use it.
Yes.
So it's not that
and
weird.
It works.
It does.
It's crazy. It really, meditation, even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes a day, if you keep it up, I have noticed a drastic change. And even my wife, she's like, you seem a lot calmer now since you did that. Keep doing it. Because like you said, it's just, I think it's football coaches, like especially defensive guys. I was on the defensive side. We're kind of a different breed.
Yeah.
And we have that kind of anger that we have to work. It was fine when you play defense, but we're not playing defense anymore. We can't take that aggression out on anything else. We have to find other outlets to do it. And the sideline on Friday night is not the place to do it.
Yeah. It's also kind of like, we've talked about before, the old mentality was like, you got to be tough and aggressive and all this and I mean, it's in our, mantra for the site, Coach Simple, play fast, win. And the middle part of that is if you are confident in what you're doing, you play faster, and that equals aggressive.
Yeah. But
when you lose your mind, and we've coached kids who are very aggressive, but they lose their mind and they're all over the place. I don't want that. And if you're coaching that way, and a lot of us were coached that way, I'm fortunate that I was coached that way by some people, but I also saw a lot of really good coaches too. And to go back and look at it and be like, dude, these guys got it. And these are the guys that I remember, not the screaming, yelling, crazy guy. You know, I don't know where I was going with that. It's good. You can do it and breathe. Take a breath every once in a while.
Exactly.
All right, my number 4 is, so Coach, I'm going to actually, one of the reasons I wanted you on this is because some of the things that I look at, and again, I've talked about them in some different places recently, are actually kind of what you and I do running a business.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I look at as a huge opportunity for coaches, and maybe this is one of those things that I should make a course instead of talking about it on a random podcast, but if you learn email marketing,
I love it.
It's a massive opportunity for fundraising.
Dude, high fives and butt slaps, man, because I also brought that up in interviews. Because, you know, one of the questions is, how do you do fundraising? What's your fundraising? And, you know, the typical answer is snap cards or cookie sales or anything like that. But I said email fundraising.
Yep.
Email marketing. And they're like, what is that? And I go, y'all do realize it's like $1 billion industry. It is unbelievable. It's like the best return of value that you can get. And essentially all you do, and I'm sorry I'm stealing your thunder, I could talk all day about email marketing. I freaking love that.
Also, yeah.
Yeah, is all you have to do is just send one email to a list of parents, and you can there's no telling how much money you can make from it for your program. So please, I'm sorry for stepping on your toes. Go ahead. You got me excited, man.
No, see, I look at it as like it's an incredible opportunity, and you set up a website. You got to set up a website, and I'm working, as you know, I'm working with some different people on setting up their own businesses, and basically the same process. I get super excited about this stuff.
Yeah,
the same process that you would go through to set up a business, you would go through to set up a website for your football team. So you set up a website that has something valuable on it. Maybe it's player, profiles or player highlights or players. Something that grandma and mom and girlfriend and player themselves want to see. They go in and they enter their email address so that they can see that stuff. Now, the cool thing is you now have that email address in your database. And more importantly, you're going to have it when that kid graduates. And I know people are going to bounce around emails, okay? But that kid graduates and you've got mom's email address and dad's email address. Right now, when they leave the program, when Junior leaves the program, mom and dad are gone from your fundraising, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are out. 99% of parents are out. But if you've got the email marketing set up, you can send an email a year, 2 years, 3 years later, and just like kind of remind them what the program meant to their son, and in a way that you ask for a donation.
That is a brilliant idea.
Can you donate $10 so that another child can have the fulfillment that your child got out of this football program? And so it's not just fundraising for this year. It's one of those things that perpetuates year after year after year.
You're building an asset.
Maybe that's something I need to work on.
I would go ahead and put me down, man. Sign me up for the beta. I'm down. That is freaking that is a brilliant idea, because then you can just say it. Hey, you remember your Jimmy? How excited he was on Friday nights,
right,
doing XYZ. Well, Johnny over here wants to do the same thing. We know how great Jimmy is. He's an alumni. We loved him. Do you mind donating $20?
Yep. We need new uniforms, whatever.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in that,
reach out to Joe.
Email me or message me on Twitter @footballinfo. Email joe@joedanielfootball.com. If you're interested in it, maybe it's something we'll work on putting together this off season. So
heck yeah, man.
All right, number 3, Coach.
All right. I think I know this is we both have our like you said, businesses and stuff like that. And I'm not promoting anything. It's just stop chasing the next big thing. Like, I think a lot of coaches are kind of like drug addicts where they're chasing that high, where it's 1 year I'm this offense or this defense. We're kind of successful. The kids, if you notice, a lot of coaches, if they stick with it for the whole year, toward the end of the year, the kids kind of get it and they get good. And then all of a sudden the season ends and they have that high, but then around January, February, they want to try something new. They want to go to the next system. So if they were an even man front, they're kind of deciding maybe the odd might be it. Or if they're, throwing the ball, then it's like maybe if we go a little bit more wing T or something like that. And instead of just keeping with what they're doing and just perfecting it. I don't think so. What I'm trying to say is find other programs around you or the area that do something similar, go and see what they're doing. Or if there's courses with things that do things similar, do that, but don't make a wholesale change, because I've been around a lot of programs, talked to a lot of people that they change for no reason at all. And that hurts your kids, because then in the spring, when they should be doing the same thing they did right before the season ended, just picking up where they left off, they now have to learn new plays, learn new words and blocking techniques and things like that. And it looks like crap. So then at the end of spring, the coach is like, you know what, screw all that new stuff. We're going back to the old stuff. And it's just a vicious cycle that keeps happening over and over again.
100%. And I've been talking about that all this offseason in particular, because it is so obvious to me now. And look, I've done it. Like, I'm not going to, I've done it. I've
We're
jumped
all
around.
guilty of it.
Yeah, we all, especially as you're learning, and if you're relatively new to coaching, there is a belief when you're coming in there that there is some right system, that there is some magic bullet, and it's not. This isn't unique to coaching. This is almost anything that you enter into. When you first enter into it, there's shiny objects, right? And you're like, oh man, this is the thing. And you're like, so somebody will tell you, and it's probably in my own marketing. Like, oh yeah, you got small offensive linemen or small defensive linemen, 33 stack. Yeah. Because you know what? It's not a bad defense if you've got traditionally all small defensive linemen.
Yeah.
But like, that doesn't mean this year is a little bit of a down year. You've got young linemen, abandon a ship and go to, and then come back to like, I hate to talk about guys who are, some of my clients and stuff, but one of my clients, we're talking in a chalk talk, and he's saying basically that he won, youth coach won like their championship. And then I guess they play another game against another champion. Ran a 4.2, made some, it was basically a 6.2, let's say. Won the championship, then played a spread team and lost, and was like, okay, I'm changing to a 3.3 or 3.4. And I'm like, dude, please no. Listen, guys, there is nothing inherent in a 3.3, 3.4, 4.2, 4.3, or whatever you want to call them, 4.4, 5.2. Okay, everything. There's only 4 defensive fronts. JoeDanielFootball.com/80. Go listen to it. I'm really pissed off in that, but it's several years old now, but all still true. There's nothing inherent in any of those that's like not able to defend the spread or not able to defend the double wing. That's completely untrue. There is no magic bullet, and there's nothing that's going to make bad kids really good other than you just knowing what you're doing. I mean, and I think you probably see it even more when you're talking like air raid, as guys are like, because that's sexy.
That, and I've been a part of staffs that have done that. Like at one stop, no lie, at one stop, we were watching film, and the team we were playing that week struggled against a wing T team. It's kind of one of those things, you never see wing T, so of course they're going to struggle a little bit. And our head coach was like, you know what, I want to put in the red formation. We never got under center. We put 6 wing T plays in, and that's all we practiced that entire week. The motions, we practiced belly, buck sweep, trap, waggle, and something, a speed sweep. 5 plays, right? That's all we did. Do you know how many times we called those plays in the game?
Not enough.
One time, and it was a deep pass on 3rd and 20. That's when we called it. And it's probably the reason why I'm going bald right now, because I was just like, oh my God, what are we doing? I was pulling my hair out. Like, how? I don't know how to teach. I don't know how to go from, okay, we're in the shotgun running inside zone for the entire year to all of a sudden now you want my guy to be in a 3-point stance and my other guy to be a wing back. And I don't know the timing or anything, because it's it's like dancing in the wing tee. It's almost a dance. You have to practice it over and over again. And you want me to teach it in 3 days, technically 2, because the third day, Wednesdays are usually the group stuff. I'm like, oh God, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm tapping.
Well, that's like the question. I'm sure you get the same question. Hey, coach, we're playing. I get the defensive end of it. Hey, we're playing a wing tee this week. What's a good defense against a wing tee? Dude, whatever you're running is the best defense against a wing tee, and whatever you're going to put in to stop a wing tee is the worst defense against a wing tee. Just that's it.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
So 100% on that. My number 3, I'm going to go one more business thing here. Since you just killed the business by telling people not to buy a new system. Just
I
kidding.
didn't say that.
I know. We all have this. I
didn't say that at all. And real quick, I think that's, for some reason, coaches out of everything are like, don't get a system. Learn the hard way, put in 10, 15, 20 years, figure it out. But every other aspect of life, you're all about get the system. You want to lose weight? Get Weight Watchers. Right. You want to get stronger or anything? Get CrossFit or 531 or something, like some weightlifting program. And everything else is fine with systems. But for some reason, this football and basketball and baseball, it's like, no, you've got to grind it out for 20 years. Don't condense your learning or anything. Just suffer. And hopefully you can make it long enough in this profession where you can learn what you're doing. I don't understand that concept.
Yeah. And I think that's what we're saying is like, hey, if you're, I'll use mine as an example, but let's say that you're an air raider. Let's say that if you're a 33 stack team, okay, and you went 3-7 running, whatever random 33 stack you ran, or 3-5-3 or 5-3 or whatever. Don't change. Find somebody, and by the way, I sell a 33 stack system,
which is unbelievable.
3-3-5.
I'm going to give you a plug. I've had a couple of years where when I first started out, the 3-3 stack just perplexed me. I'm going to be completely honest. Had no idea.
Me too.
And I was like, you know what? I know that Joe sells it. I'm going to look into it. And I devoured your shit. Pardon me. I probably shouldn't have said that. But, and you opened my eyes. And that's the thing. Like, I could have struggled every single year and gotten a little bit better, but I might not have had a job long enough to do that. Or I might have run a stretch of a whole year where I only see the 3-3 stack one time.
Right.
And I learned nothing from it. So why not go to an expert? And yes, you're an expert. Don't be modest. And learn what you are doing and how you teach it and stuff, and be like, oh, okay, that's what that system is trying to do. So now I can put my offensive perspective up against that.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to use it tool. Yeah, I mean, by the way, 335defense.com or joedanielfootball.com. Just
get it.
It's there.
Get it.
It's also included in JDFB Insider, all of our coaching systems.
I love it.
So, dude, I gotta feed the dog, man. Food's not cheap. I got 2 dogs. All right, so my number 3 is to use podcasting to connect with your community. And I've talked to some coaches who are doing this. I've been in some places that do this. Podcasts are not hard to set up. Again, it's not difficult to start a podcast. You don't need some phenomenal equipment. Like, you don't have to have this setup. Like, you don't need all this stuff. You can use the microphone. You can use a headset microphone that they've probably got something in your library at your school that they're not using that you can use to do a podcast. Or you can get a $40 blue snowball off of Amazon and plug it into your USB and you can roll with it. It's not, or, number of microphones. So it's not hard to do. And when I put this out, I think I put this out on a podcast recently or somewhere, and another coach sent me a message on Twitter that they were doing it, like interviewing your players, to let them talk. And it gives them a little experience of like what to say to media and stuff. Interviewing your coaches so that people get to know your coaches. Interviewing members of the community who are affected by the football program, and interviewing past players to talk about what the football program's meant to you. And again, this can be a part of your fundraising as another way to be in touch with people and let them know what's going on within your community. So I think that podcasting, everybody's looking for ways to connect to the community. This is a way that you can connect to the community without having to spend like a lot of upfront face-to-face community time, which is all well and good, but that's expensive. And this is something where you can record it every week, 20, 30 minutes, get on a schedule. You can have a student do it for you. You can have, I think it's best if the head coach is pretty heavily involved, but a way to get that community interaction. And I've talked to some coaches who are already doing it. So again, learn to podcast and use a podcast as a part of community interaction for your team.
And that's smart because also as a head coach, you can learn how to speak when you have a microphone so you don't sound really, really dumb after the game. You can kind of fall back on, oh, I've done this a lot. That's a great idea, man.
And if you don't know how to do it, there's a pretty good chance that you've got another coach or a player who either can do it or is technologically interested enough to learn it. Even if you're not interested in learning it, you can have somebody else who says, okay, look, and you can just be the one who speaks if you're the head coach.
Yeah.
And as much as it's great being the anonymous coordinator in high school, it's good to, let people know a little bit about your other coaching. Because assistant coaches in most places are essentially anonymous.
Yeah, they are.
Which is great. It's great being that guy, but it's nice to let people know.
They want to feel appreciated too.
Yeah, sure. At least, and they also get a little bit of, chance to speak and things if they're going to go out and do some. I always think that you should have your coaches do in the off season some clinic stuff within the staff so that eventually they can go speak at a clinic as well.
Yeah,
when that opportunity comes up. So, all right, number 2.
Going back to, I think you should study defenses. So if you're an offensive coach, I think you should study defense. If you're a defensive coach, I think you should study offense. Now that's not saying so I'm an offensive side of the guy. That's not saying don't dive into whatever Oklahoma or Clemson or things that's happening offensively, but I'm getting to that point where I'm setting my ways. Like I know what I like to run. I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to wholesale change everything. But what I want to know is what our defense is doing to be cutting edge. And I really think this year they've closed that gap on RPOs. I think that ship has kind of sailed where you can have a fully fledged RPO system where you can just destroy defenses. I think they've gotten smart enough. So I honestly believe you have to either hang your hat on the run first, then the pass, or the pass first, then the run. And RPOs can tie into that, but I don't think you can have a full RPO system where like the old Baylor used to do or whatever. And to know that, you have to study guys like you or go to really good programs in the state that you're in and sit down with the defensive coordinators because they like picking offensive guys' brains as well. And just seeing what are they doing? How are they stopping this? And then reverse engineering it. Okay, they're doing this to stop the RPO. Well, what can I do that makes them think that I'm running an RPO, but it's really a pass and things like that?
Yeah, and I think for me, you mentioned some college programs, but for me, I think that your best value on this stuff is finding. Now, if you're, and I know you like to watch a lot of stuff. If you're into, watching and breaking down college film, and that's fun for you, that's great. It's not fun for me to sit there and watch whoever's defense or offense and sit there and, oh, what are they doing? What are they doing? Like, I like watching a game, but that stuff's not fun for me. I'd rather just go find a guy who already did that and then applied it at the high school level. And so for me, like as smart as college guys are, I like to go to the high school guy who's already figured that stuff out and let me skip a step because I'm not going to run the. Now, if I was running like you, I'm setting my ways and my stuff's so far from what they're doing at a Division I college level that there's just I don't know. It's not that far, but I mean, like I don't need to go to a Division I college guy to learn how to run power. Okay, power is we got it. All right.
Now, let me preface this that I'm not looking more at scheme. What I'm trying to do, I'm playing the mental game. Like I will break down Washington State and I'll write down the down and distance, what hash it is. And then I try to, before I see what the play is, I'm going, okay, if I was in this situation, I would run this play or to attack this area of the field. Let's see if Coach Leach did the same thing. Cool. I'm trying to work because like you said, I'm not going to draw up 18 different diagrams of how to run power and stuff like that. I'm getting more into the mental aspect of it. Why did this coach call this? Why? What was he looking for? and things like that. And like you said, that's even smarter is to go to the high school level that's doing that and kind of simplified it even further because we're both big simplifying guys.
Yeah. And I think with the high school guys, one of the things is if you can get to know some high school guys that are preferably at different levels than you that you're not going to run into, they'll share everything with you. And I mean, you're going to get more access in all likelihood, especially if the college that you want to study is on the other side of the country. You're going to get a lot more access. That guy will tell you like everything that he does. He'll give you his film. You'll get a lot of access to high school guys, because I think it's funny because I talk to guys who are trying to get started in podcasting, and they're like, well, who do I get for interviews? And I'm like, high school guys will almost always, as long as you can work the schedule.
Yeah.
I've never had a high school coach that was difficult
either.
to get on a call. Like,
yeah,
I mean, difficult to get time wise, maybe, but they say yes immediately, and then it's just let me work out the schedule.
Yeah.
So whereas trying to get the big time college guys is a lot of work. Mostly trying to get through gatekeepers.
Yeah,
it's more of an issue getting through the gatekeeper. Because most big time college guys, even when I've talked to them, they're like, yeah, I'll do it. But then
you're right. You got to get through the PR and
they've got somebody who's like, oh no, we don't talk to. They don't know what you are.
Yeah,
and like once the guy figures out, hey, he wants to talk to me about like scheme, like coaching stuff, they're like, oh hell yeah, like we'll love to do that. You're not going to talk to me about recruiting violations? Great. Let's talk.
Yeah.
But you got to get through the keeper, so that's always annoying. Where are we at now? Was that your 2?
That was my 2. Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to go, we've mentioned it already, you just mentioned simplifying your teaching, but not the scheme, because we talked about that a lot. I know we hammer that stuff. You and I both hammer that on our podcast all the time. I want to find places, because what's everybody looking for all the time is drills. Like,
yes.
Let me tell you something, guys. We're on to you in the football coaching business world. If we want to get your attention, all we do is put the word drills.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like downloads, and I mean, it's on. I want a YouTube video with the most views, it's on. Everybody's looking for drills.
Yeah.
That's the key word for views and clicks and all. Anything with drills in it, that's clickbait. Okay, it just is. That's not really clickbait, but everybody's looking for that. What you need to do, instead of looking for new drills, you want to level up your program, start cutting them out. And that means cutting out technique, teaching, cutting out, and this is, to me, I think almost everybody can go into, like you said, with the plays and going back and doing analytics, is like, what drills did you run in 2019 in practice that don't show up on the field? And I'm not talking about
smart.
I'm not talking about you. When I say doesn't show up the field, I mean that technique that you worked. I'll give you an example. We used to work shock and shed with linebackers, blocking with the block destructing.
Yeah, I remember
with the
that
hands.
drill. Yeah,
we used to do all our block destructing with the hands, and none of my kids ever block destructed with their hands. So I first went to a flipper, and we got better with that, and then I went to a rip drill. Because they're freaking avoiding contact anyway. Like, that's the natural thing to do. Oh, he's 270? Let me avoid contact with him. So let me teach you how to avoid contact, 180-pound linebacker. Okay?
That's smart.
So let me tell you what we cut out. Every single shock and shed drill that there was, and there were a bunch of them, and all we worked was a rip drill, which everybody on the defense is working rip drill. So we cut all the safety block destructing drills. We cut all the linebacker block destructing drills. The defensive linemen, all they do is post and rip anyway. So they rip drill all the time anyway. So now the entire defense works a rip drill, and we do it in pre-practice. And we got rid of, like, how much of your individual time is block destructing? Like, it should be a lot. But we just made a team drill in pre-practice, and everybody's working. So that's what I mean. Even if, like, would I like to have seen us block destruct with our hands? Yeah, I think it's cool. And I think it's maybe the most effective way, but I mean, if everybody got it. And I've had guys tell me, like, you can do it. And I'm like, you can. I'm clearly not capable of teaching it. And this worked out pretty well, to be honest. So when I say get rid of drills that don't show up in the field, I don't just mean the ones that are wasteful because they don't apply to the field. Like one that I got rid of a long time ago, and guys may say, well, it does show up on the field. One that I got rid of a long time ago was the jumping over the bags. I've never seen a bag.
Yes.
On the, and you're like, well, guys fall down. I'm like, one guy falls down, not 5 in a row in a
going at a slight
spaced
downhill angle where you have to. Yeah.
So I got rid of that a long time ago because I never saw 5 bags laying on the field. But that to me is one that, and if you think it's important, you've got to make this evaluation on your own. Because some guys are like, we got to have that. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's one that to me, in my mind, doesn't apply to the field because there's no bags on the field. But like, would I like to block destruct with hands? Absolutely. It just wasn't happening. So I killed it.
Yeah, that's smart. So. Why do something that's not showing up on the field?
And if you worked it for a whole, look, I'm not saying after 1 week, but if you worked it all last season and it didn't show up,
yeah,
that's just a technique you can cut. You can cut the teaching on it.
And save time. And then you can double up on what they are doing so they get exponentially better at it.
Yeah. Or you can do what I do and just cut periods out of practice. Go home.
You loved that, didn't you, when you did it?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, everybody will adapt.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what, if you put people in a situation where the 90-minute practice, everybody adapts. You get out there, and if you're the head, you kind of got to be the head coach to do this because it's off kilter a little bit. Be like, we're going to be off the field, period. No discussion. We're off the field because I can promise you there's going to be days where you're like, we didn't get it done.
Mm-hmm.
But we're off the field, and that day is gone. Everybody now has a sense of urgency. Everybody realizes, okay, when that whistle blows for period 3, I got to get to period 3, and I got to go. Coaches, players, everybody. But also they know this thing's going to be over at 4:40.
Yeah,
Let's get it done.
I love that, man.
I thought it worked great.
Yeah, heck yeah. I'm tired of the 2 hours, 2.5 hours. It's like, guy, that was beautiful when you talked about that.
It's so the other benefit, which kind of wanted that benefit, but getting into week 11, first round, second round of the playoffs, and not feeling that, weight on your body, that grinding feeling.
So you noticed the difference?
Huge difference.
Wow.
Huge difference. Players and coaches, I think. Players and coaches, like, and I had a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of people who listen to podcasts and stuff know that. I had a lot of stuff going on. So there was a weight on me, but it was like that 90 minutes though, that weight was gone because I knew, look, I got 90 minutes. It's going to be upbeat. Practices are upbeat, up tempo. And honestly, by that time we were going 75. We were on the field about an hour and 15 minutes.
That's nice.
But just like everybody felt good, I don't think I got that. It was good. It was good. So, but in order to do that, you got to simplify. You really do. And it forces you. It's like, you don't have an option.
Exactly. I love that. I love that we're two kindred spirits, man. We both believe in simplification.
Oh man, it's the best. It's the best. So, and I like that you're doing it with, here, we can just wash each other up for a minute. I like that you're doing it with like something that's inherently not simple, or not thought of as simple. When you do things like the simplification of the air raid, like I know, I get that the air raid is, X number of plays, and it actually is pretty simple, but most people don't look at it and think like simple, So
yeah, what I also love is when coaches, like, you get on the defense side, offense side over here, when you get those messages like, hey, we went all in, we simplified, and I'm amazed at how well the kids are picking it up, how they're having fun, because now, like you said, practice isn't that long, and how we're scoring a lot more points. Never knew we could do that. And it's like, yes, if you go back and you read a lot, which I know you and I, we both read, the really successful businesses and programs, they actually are very simple at their core.
Yeah.
They have a few key beliefs and they go all in on those.
And a lot of the, businesses, especially, you see it with, and there's a million examples of businesses that they were simple, they grew, and then they tried to expand by, instead of doubling down on what they did well, by adding more things. And my own business, I think if I had just run with 425 or something like that, I'd probably be better off, honestly. But I just like tinkering with crap.
Yeah.
It's fun for me, but like businesses, like you look at, like, I don't know, McDonald's. I mean, I guess McDonald's pretty much stuck with it for a long time, but what has McDonald's done outside of burgers and fries that really made a difference? Right. I mean, they mess around with salads. Does salads really matter? I don't know.
No. And they went away. And I want to say the first edition was the chicken sandwich, like 30 years after just hamburgers and French fries.
Yeah.
That was like the major one. And that's a great example because I really think that's why places like Burger King aren't that popular.
Do a bunch of chicken nuggets and this and that. And
the chicken fries, like who needs that? No one.
Nobody needs chicken fries.
No.
Nobody needs chicken fries. Those chicken fries aren't even good.
No, they're disgusting. After I ate them.
All right. Number one.
I really think trying to figure out how to incorporate technology.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of cool things going on. I'm gonna plug AJ Smith's VAR technology, virtual reality. That thing is freaking amazing, man. I went down to the One Back Clinic and he came up here too, and we did a live clinic, and you put it on, and you were there. You were at the practice field, and that's actually how Garner Minshew came on 2 years ago when he was a walk-on or senior. He was getting Washington State's spring ball practice sent to Jackson State, where Hal Mummy was, and he was doing the same reps and everything in spring ball in Jackson, Mississippi. So by the time he went up there, he knew the entire playbook.
Nice.
He knew everything. And another example, Go Army Edge. Do you know what that is? Okay, so
I love that.
There was a thing that LSU does now defensively. They have their meeting. They have a big old, it's like a mini gym. One side is a meeting room with desk and everything. They go over the cut-ups of the offense that they're going to face and everything. And then on the other side is a big blank wall with the Go Army Edge that has a huddle. The team's in the huddle, and then they break the huddle. And all 11 guys have to see what the formation is, make the checks, line up properly because they have one of those snakes in front of the wall. And I was watching, I was like, oh, my God, that is freaking amazing because once you do that, then you just go on the field. So you're reinforcing what you just learned, and it cuts down on practice time.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, there's amazing stuff that you can do. I haven't seen the VARTech. I think I've seen the website maybe.
Yeah.
But I haven't looked at it, like actually seen it. Up close.
Oh, it is unbelievable. It covers your ears. I mean, you were there in the pocket. And What's cool for a coach is you can stand behind and you're seeing it projected on the screen and you go, okay, what do you see? And if the quarterback says something, you can tell if he's looking or not. So you can tell if he's lying. So you come up and you're like, okay, we ran a smash here. You didn't throw the smash. What'd that corner do? He's like, oh, that corner dropped. And you go, well, you're lying because you're not even looking at the corner right now. You're looking to the right, and we're throwing it to the left.
Oh, so you know what he's seeing.
You know
not just what happened,
seeing.
But you know exactly what he saw.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, my God, that is such a game changer.
Yeah. So we use the trigger reads in the Pistol Power Offense system.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, so many times the kid's like, well, I thought the safety did this or whatever. And it's like, you never I would love to be able to just be like, you never looked, because they generally keep their eyes down the middle, which is where we should be looking for the trigger. But that doesn't mean that they're looking at the trigger or really reading him. They're just kind of keeping their eyes, down the middle during the 3-step, and then just like immediately going to where they had already, in their actual mind, they're just like getting ready to throw where they're pre-snap determined already. Yeah.
So. I don't care what happens. I'm throwing it to my friend right now.
So it would be great to kind of know. Of course, I guess if his head was kind of down the middle, you wouldn't know, but you would know whether he looked at the trigger or not. Yeah. That'd be awesome. I mean, I think there's so much technology can do for you. And we've hit on things like the email marketing and podcasting, which are obviously available in technology. Going out and getting a system that's, when I started coaching, first of all, when I started coaching, there wasn't such a thing as a system. And then the Tony Franklin system came along and it was $5,000. And
Yes.
you can get a system, a legit system for mine are $19 a month, and I know other people, you've got your stuff and other people have, you can get a legit system because of technology and not having to go live at some college for a week or whatever to learn it.
Of Phil Longo, who would always drive from I think the story is he fell in love watching the air raid when Mike Leach was at Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
So he would drive from New Jersey all the way down to Texas Tech, sleep in his car, then bum a ride or bum a couch. And he did that like 4 or 5 years in a row to learn the air raid system. And I'm sure there's other stories for defensive guys.
Well, I mean, just for our system, Bill Mountjoy was going from Richmond to D.C. to the Redskins all the time, as far as I know, constantly, to learn that, to learn the Redskins system. Basically, that's basically it's a one back offense. Pistol power offense is a one back offense, pro style. It's probably as similar to what you see on the average NFL as it can get. But like, you don't have to drive. Exactly. I've taken all of Bill's stuff. I've made some things on it. I hope improvements. I've probably broken some stuff.
They did.
And like, it's $19 a month.
Yeah.
I'm going to promote my stuff because that's what I get excited about.
Exactly, man.
PistolPowerOffenseSystem.com if you want to check that out. Feel free to throw in your plugs anytime.
No, that's fine, man. It's your podcast. The only thing is if YouTube, you're a podcast guy. I love YouTube.
Yeah.
That's my channel, Coach McKie. I think that's it. That's bad. That's an awful plug. But if you just Google Coach McKie or YouTube, Coach, and McKie is spelled McKie. It's pronounced McKie, but it's spelled McKie, pronounced Mackie. I don't know why. I blame my ancestors for that. But if you put that in YouTube, you can find my channel. I do a lot of stuff on there.
So my last one is, and I've talked about this a little bit, and I learned this a few years ago, probably 10 years ago now. Man, this stuff's going by fast. Hire experts. I learned from a coach, very, very successful program here in Central Virginia. And I knew he knew what he was doing. And there was actually a conversation he had with my head coach at the time, but we had talked about it, and finally he just went up to him and was like, "What are you doing?" Like, I knew this guy knew how to run a weight room. He had won basically championships. I don't know if he won a state championship, but he had been on top basically in other parts of the state, different levels. We knew the guy knew how to run a weight room, but he was bringing in this guy who I'm almost sure didn't know as much as he did, to be honest. For the sake of the story, he was an expert. Mm-hmm. Bringing in this other guy to run his weightlifting program. And the guy was, he hired him, had the money to do that. And the guy would come in and run his weightlifting program. We were like, "What are you doing? Like, is this guy really better?" He's like, he's okay. He's like, "Why do you pay him?" It's like, because the kids will listen to us for football, but it's like, it's like kids. It's like with your dad, right? Like, he's your dad. Mm-hmm. You believe in him. You think he's smart. But if you get a big jack guy at the gym that tells you how to bench press, you're like, doing what he said.
Yeah.
Like, you'll listen to anybody else other than your dad, right? When you're a kid. And he was like, it's the weirdest thing. Like, these kids would come to the weight room and they do the lifting. But when we brought this guy in, it was like, oh, this dude's official. Like, he's good enough that somebody's paying him to come teach us. When we hired Dale Basquette to come in and teach, to fly in and teach how to run. Mm-hmm. And one of my other things on my list that I was going to put on here was learn to run. Dale Basquette teaches that. It's godfatherofspeed.com. I get nothing out of that one. That's a free plug for Dale. Godfatherofspeed.com.
That is a great URL.
It is.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I like it. Dale Basquette will teach your players how to run. And when he brought him in, he doesn't look like a sprinter. but you know immediately this guy knows what he's doing, and the kids are they believe in him. But you also don't have to bring guys in. Our weightlifting program, okay? I sell JDFB Weight Room. Let me plug something else, joedanielfootball.com/weight room. Our weightlifting program, Chris Lawyer wrote our weightlifting program. He's been he's my weightlifting coach at my gym. But when I met him, he reminded me of Dale Basquette. Brilliant guy. Reminded me of Bill Mountjoy. Like these are the people that I go to. These guys that are so brilliant in their avenue that within 10 minutes you realize you don't know snot about. With Dale, it was running, sprinting, speed training. With Chris, it was weight training. And I've been at that point in time a strength coach essentially for 15 years. And I'm just like listening to him like, I know nothing. Now,
you know nothing, Jon Snow.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I know more than the average bear, but when you talk to this dude 10 minutes, you're like, I thought I knew. So I got the program from him. My kids didn't meet him for 6 months or something like that. But I just went to him. I said, look, this is a guy. Here's his credentials. And we're going to run what he's got. We're going to do his lifting. And I sold him. You got to sell. You got to learn to sell. If you're a coach, learn to sell. Exactly. Should have put that on here. Learn to sell. Sell your kids on, look, we went out and got this information from or if you get Dale Basquette's Godfather of Speed online and you learn, sell who he is. Sell who you're getting it from, and then teach it. Hire experts. It's not just because your kids will buy into it, but it's also because people that are truly experts. Okay, you and I, most of the coaches are listening to this. Okay, or some of the coaches are listening to this. Some of you guys are new, but as far as what we're experts at, coaching is kind of like that's our area, that's our avenue. Okay, you're not going to be an expert in this defense, this offense, that weight room, how to run a weight room, all these things.
Exactly.
So go out and get people who can do it. That's
it doesn't
my
make
thing.
you less of a coach either if you do that. And there's that, like we said earlier, there's that macho-ism that I have to know it all.
We got to do everything.
Really, you don't. There's other people out there that know more. I always think you want to be the dumbest person in the room. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. I didn't create that saying at all. Someone smarter than me did it, and I took it. But like you said, weightlifting, I'm not that smart in weightlifting. So I'm going to go and get your stuff because you're a lot smarter than me at weightlifting. And there's nothing wrong with doing that,
And you're 100%. Like, that's an important point. Everybody feels like, and I feel like, and I don't know if you feel this way, I feel like there are coaches who are clients for Joe Daniel Football who don't want anybody to know that they're paying for football advice. Like,
yeah,
I think I work with a lot of coaches who are very successful who they have no problem with that. But I know other coaches who are like, instead of sharing it with their staff, right? They're like getting it and then like kind of presenting it to their staff like
they came up with it.
Like they came up with it, which is fine. But you don't have to know everything. You don't have to invent everything. You don't have to come up with everything. And it was hard for me at first because, like I said, I was a strength coach for 15 years. When we brought in Dale Basquette, I didn't know much about him. He was writing articles for American Football Monthly. Our head coach thought it was a good idea, brought him in, and I was like, what are we doing? And he told me how much it cost, and I was like, and then I picked him up at the airport, okay? And I'm expecting to see, some Olympic sprinter at the airport. And Dale is an older guy, he's got a little belly, and I'm like, what are we doing? And then 10 minutes. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Expert.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got off on that because I just have this picture of Dale standing in the airport and I'm like, he's standing there and I'm standing there and I'm looking for the Olympic sprinter that's going to teach our guys how to run. And I'm looking around and he's looking at me like, are you? And I'm like, no, I'm here for a speed coach.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's
Usain
like,
Bolt. That's who I'm here for.
yeah. I'm like, where is he? He's like, yeah, that's me. Okay. All right. But for me personally, when we brought him in, when I decided to go to Chris and ask him to put together what became JDFB Weight Room, and ask him to put together a program for us, I was not, I mean, day one, I was not comfortable with going to the kids and being like, this wasn't our idea. I didn't come up with this. But
Wash my hands of it.
like, they were fine with it. It's
Yeah.
not like they were like, they don't, you think they think you're Superman. They don't. They don't. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is our top 5 each. I think we got a good list there of things that you can do.
Yeah.
And I mean, you don't need to do all of them, right?
No, I think you should pick one thing you want to get better at in the off season and just work that way. I am a firm believer of 1% better.
Yeah.
Because if you do 1% better every single day, you're going to change. A lot of people, when they try to change, and I've been guilty of it too, is you're like, screw it. I'm going to go, like, let's take dieting for example. Screw it. I am going straight up keto, no carbs. I'm eating super clean and I'm lifting 17 times a day, and you get burned out. Where if you make gradual changes, like, hey, I'm going to stop eating cake every other day or something like that, you'll see changes. Same thing with the program. You know, like you said, I'm going to find an expert. So I'm going to start researching which expert I like, who can help me in the weight room. And then I'm going to go and implement their system, even if it's just for a year, to see if we get any benefits. Because
Yeah.
it's
And
like a now thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I agree. I think if you try to implement, like, even, if you try to get an expert in, when I say hire experts, if you try to hire an expert speed coach and an expert weight room coach in the same year, you're not going to know which one made the difference in your program. I mean, I guess if you look and your guys are bigger and stronger and they're also faster, but your guys will get
What's
faster.
In the water?
Yeah. Like, one of the things with a good weight program is your guys will get faster because they're more explosive.
Yeah.
So maybe you implement the weight program first and you got that nailed down, you go speed. I would say, I think you can probably do something on a personal level. And I like the one that you talked about with, being calmer on the sidelines, because you'll find that'll make a massive difference.
Yeah.
You've been on the sideline. We've all been on the sidelines with stuff's just unraveling. But if the coaches are staying calm, that's a lot less like nobody unravels when you're blowing somebody out 48-7. Everybody's like having a good time, everything's happy. So for me, I think, like, if you do a personal, I hate journey or whatever. What's the word for it? If you do some sort of personal development, in the off season,
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then also something from a schematic, practice planning, game planning, that kind of thing. I think you can probably do both of those, because a lot of things you do that are on a personal level going to make you a better football coach, like you said, are also going to improve other aspects of your life.
Yeah.
So you can do those. Well, cool. You got any other ones you want to throw out there?
No. I mean, the biggest thing overall for me is don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
I mean, in anything, whatever your situation, if offensively you're struggling, ask for help. Defensively you're struggling, ask for help. If you have an issue with anger, ask for help. Equipment, money, fundraising, ask for help. I think this profession, I don't know if it's always been this way or if it's ratcheting up because of social media, but we are afraid to reach out and ask other people for help because it makes us look weak. Mm-hmm. That's just my personal thought. And I just think you should, if you're going to use social media, you should use it to get better, not get drawn into the trolling and ridiculing other people and things like that. And let me get on my soapbox real quick. I don't know if I did this. I am sick of seeing Saturdays and Sundays football coaches talking crap about college football coaches and NFL coaches, when on Fridays after we lose a game or something happens, we're on social media blasting the parents for doing the same thing we're doing ourselves. That just drives me up a wall, and I'm starting to get away from social media. I'll check it once or twice, and I just if coaches message me for help. That's pretty much it. I put it down. And I don't know where I'm going with that. My mind kind of just blanked, but that's just my thing. Try a detox. How about that? You did a detox, didn't you?
Yeah,
like a social media detox?
I did a digital detox. What was the name of the book? There was a book that it's in my Audible. It was really good. And I did a 30-day, I think it ended up being like 45 days. I deleted all of the apps and everything, social media, not just social media, like everything. Basically, it was trying to take my screen time on my phone from like, I don't know if you guys ever look at the screen time on your phone. Mine's like 4 or 5 hours. Four's a lie. It's like 5 or 6. It's like, it's through the roof. And it's back up. It's funny you mentioned that because it's back up pretty high. And I'm like, okay, it's time to maybe do this again, go back through it again. And but yeah, and my screen time was like 30 minutes a day. Like
I need to do that.
It was awesome. And I was just going to see if I could find the name of the was it the More of Less? Might be it. More of Less. I thought it was like a detox book, but anyway, I'm not going to sit here and flip for it for too long. I'm going to disagree with you just a little bit. I don't think that coaches are more afraid to ask for help. And in fact, I think that in general, or on the whole, we are more likely to ask for help than maybe 15, 20 years ago. I say 20 years ago. I wasn't coaching. So, I mean, that was so 15 years ago, 10 years ago. I think that we were more, I'm going to go with, it was this book called The More of Less, but I'll check and put it in the show notes. Okay. I think we're more willing to ask for help. Now, it was easier to do it in secrecy, right? When you could just order a Championship Productions video and you didn't have to tell you weren't in a community or something like that. Yeah. And I know I still, one of the things that indicates to me that people are a little afraid to admit it is just like, my forum is the private forum in JDFB. You use your real name. And a lot of coaches seem to not like that. But I don't like some of what Coach Huey became. And so I want you to use your real name. I think that the amount of information that is available today, and we're going to cut this off pretty quick. So okay. I'll do the last part. I'll finish this up quick. I think the amount of information that's available is massive and incredible. And I think that our willingness to ask maybe hasn't caught up with the availability of what you can ask for, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. It does. I know what you're talking about. You don't have to look at me like I'm stupid. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's like there's so much out there.
Yeah.
So much. There is zero reason for you to, I'll use business. Again, we'll go back to business, okay? You've done a lot of the stuff that I did. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I'm sure you've taken a lot of stuff from a lot of other people.
Yes, I have.
But how many other people have you seen who tried to do it, or tried because they're not around anymore, tried to do it on their own, and
a ton,
figure it out on their own rather than just doing what I do or what you do or what this book says or that book says, and they try to just do it on their own. And there's no reason. It's the same thing like, if you're running the defense that you ran in high school and trying to remember how that 4-4 worked, but you don't really remember, there's no reason. Or trying to look at what some team is doing and trying to take it and figure it out, like reverse engineer it. There's no reason. There's a million people who will teach you to run that run a version of that defense, and they've already been through the slog with it. They know how to do it, so it's out there. Find experts. So I don't know. We got to fall in all that. So that was my number one.
All right, man.
That's going to be it.
Yeah,
hey, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I had a blast. Thanks for bringing me back on, man.
Check it out. Coach McKie does the Talking Football podcast. He's also got a YouTube channel. Coach McKie on YouTube?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Coach McKie on YouTube. And the website that they can find. Can they get all that like in a central location?
Yeah, if you just go to YouTube, you can find it. It's somewhere on there.
I mean, just
Somewhere
Google,
around
like
there. Yeah,
Google
yeah.
Coach McKie. It's going to come up.
McKie.
MC. Wow, my light just went off like a. Hey, let me tell you, these cheap Amazon LED lights, not a good investment. This is the second one that's burned out. So cool. That's why I'm half in the dark. So
Damn you, Jeff Bezos.
stealing my money, man. But I bet he asked some people how to do it.
Exactly.
Get there fast. All right, Coach. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, man. Thanks.
And be sure to check out some of my other videos, including other videos from this podcast. And I've got a lot of other great coaching videos on this channel that you can check out that are shown down below here. Also, if you want to subscribe, make sure you don't miss any future videos. Just click on the logo on the top left of the screen.